So, Alan, you worked your way through being a chippy all the way to being a project manager, right?
Yep.
I've gone from engineering school to project controls. I've never been a chippy. Didn't start as a trade. What's that like? What's that journey like being for you? So if
Unexpected.
I do have a second part to that question, but I'll get to it. Sorry.
No, you go.
My second part to it is, what if somebody out there wanted to go through the trade route? What would that pathway look like for them to becoming a project manager?
Oh, I mean, I think it would look different for everybody. I'm sure there's a quicker way to do it than I did it, but it wasn't a planned thing. It was just kind of constantly evolving. Opportunity arises, I'll have a go at that, getting pretty good at this. And it just moved on like that more than anything that I had. It never even entered my mind until, you're in the middle of it. And then so as you start to become a little bit ambitious and you think, I'd like to, steer a job around. Now I'd like to steer a bigger job around, planning, a little job once you get, the hang of that, and then it just grows and grows and grows. But I think, coming from the trade background, even though you kind of progress, and like we talked about before, you spend time with the other trades, and that's definitely helpful in your sequencing, that you don't think exactly like them, but you know enough about them that you're thinking of stuff that they're concerned about to get your base sequencing before you start going and talking to them about let's get into the nitty gritty of it. And I think that other little thing that you have of, when you're down on the ground doing the work, you're worried about what affects me. How big is the lift? Where is the lift? Where can we deliver to? What's the loading dock like? Where's my storage area? How close is it to my work face? And so that's still running in the background, that you're kind of thinking of these questions for other trades, and then you're trying to, okay, well,
pave the way for them.
Yeah, pave the way. And, obviously it's
that
collaborative.
Sounds like a good project manager, right?
Well, look, it's some days it works, some days it doesn't.
What is it they say? The quickest way to build a building is to make sure that you have, you move people and you move material around your site as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Your building gets built quicker.
And just single handling.
Simple rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's when every time I pick up a tender program, the first thing I look at is, what's my logistics strategy?
I mean, but it really is the key, and then again, it goes back to that, good relationships that you've built over time, that you can lean in and you can, call someone and say, look, this is kind of what I'm thinking. You may or may not be on the tender list, but I'll just give you an idea of what I'm thinking. Is this possible? Can you two guys run side by side, or is that a no-no? And yeah, it's just, I feel from doing a building apprenticeship, being around trades all the time, very comfortable talking to the guys, and it's just almost first nature to, I'll just give someone a bell and just, let's chat it out, let's figure it out. And maybe that would be the case if you had a traditional route to it, but I don't know. I've spent a lot of time on sites over the years, and I definitely feel like even if it hasn't helped me, it makes me feel like it's helped. And so
I'm confident that experience on site's probably gold for your career right now. That's probably pushing you upwards a lot quicker because of that time you invested on site. That's my opinion, at least. But because think about exactly what you said. Just look back to all of those conversations. You're paving the pathway for all of these people. You're clearing. It's immediately people just go, I want to work with that guy because it's just easy. He communicates clearly, paves the way for me to succeed. I just have to get in there and do what I'm good at doing.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're all trying to make a couple of bucks, and if we kind of make sure that we can all do that, then the whole thing works better,
Couple of thousand, couple of million.
Wow,
but yeah.
that's
Whatever, but yeah.
But it's the same kind of principle, I suppose, all the way up. I know the types of jobs you're on are sometimes huge, but I think a lot of principles remain the same, just scale slightly different. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just there to steer the ship a little bit and make sure that everybody's getting a fair bite to do their thing. They're the specialists. I just want to get them in and do the thing they specialize in.
If there's one thing that you could tell a young engineer or tell a young Alan O'Connor to do it differently, what would it be?
I think probably embrace the listening a little bit sooner. I think there's probably, if I'm honest with myself, when I was younger, there was a time that, not at the very start, but once you kind of get going and you start to feel yourself a little bit and you think you might know a bit too much, When the reality of it is, in the scale of things, you don't actually know that much, and that, you know, it takes maybe a little bit of failure to fall back and say, hey, look, I'm never finished learning. And even now, you know, I'm always keen to listen, learn, better way of doing something. You know, I may not take it completely what you've told me, but it might be enough of it that I'll take it and incorporate it into something else I've been doing to make, you know, my own way. And then that's, you know, up for continuous improvement as well. Nothing's ever finished. Like you say, everything's changing and we've got to change with it as well. But I think, you know, just not being afraid to listen, and, you know, you don't have to take everything that someone gives you as a piece of advice, but, you know, at least if you hear it, then you can, you know, discern that information and say, is this useful to me? Is it not? But, you know, my attitude at one point was probably, no, cheers, but
Fuck it,
I know
better.
I know
I
better.
know better.
Yeah. As soon as you let go of that, I think progress is a little bit easier to
I
make.
agree with you, mate. Listening is a key skill that I had to learn as part of this podcast as well. I realized I cut you off a few times as well, and I'm like, fuck, don't do that. You know, but done 47 times, and I really had to learn to listen and shut the fuck up when the other person's talking. It's really difficult skill, and I've had to train myself to do that over years.
It's, I suppose there's a little bit of excitement though in it as well, that like something comes to mind and you just really want to get it out, and it
That's
can
it.
happen in a conversation. You know, it's so easy to happen. I feel like, you know, my wife is probably thinking, how many times have you done it to me? But, you know, she might be saying something, I have that idea, and then I just get going and, oh, sorry, jump the gun there. And I do fight that. Like I do fight that, because I know now that if I just listen, get all that information in, I'm going to make a better decision and it's going to work better for everybody.
100%. So for everybody out there, key skill, listening. Listen more, and it'll help your career. It'll help you grow.